Hanging 100? I don't care if it's exhibition game or not. I'll take it.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Daryl Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with you as we are live. The Auburn Tigers, in exhibition action, destroy Memphis 100-71. And it wasn't close at all. Like, Memphis turned it over like 3 times quickly, and it was like Auburn was up by like double digits. I felt like seconds into this one, Daryl. And there was a moment in the like maybe 10 minutes in where Memphis got a little bit of run, and then Auburn said, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to let this get close, and we're going to dominate you throughout. And it was just kind of different players taking turns, kind of showing how stinking talented they can be.
Well, with a little bit 8 minutes into the game, I think Auburn had forced 13 Memphis turnovers, and that is unbelievable. And I will tell you something.
Yeah.
So I didn't overreact 2 weeks ago when Auburn lost to Oklahoma State on an ice rink in Birmingham, and that's what it was.
Let's don't overreact tonight either.
So we're not going to overreact tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer lies somewhere in the middle. But you still want to see certain things that, even though you can't look at the totality of it and go, Auburn's going to win the SEC. Look what they did to Memphis. You still want to see components and bits and pieces of a basketball game to see if they clean things up. So I will say this: they guarded a whole lot. They got the message from Stephen Pearl, who is was the defensive coach last year, that you're not going to play at Auburn and guard like you did against Oklahoma State. And you know this, Zach. Anytime you defend like that, your shooting percentage goes way up because you're getting runouts, you're getting bunny. And they did make the bunnies around the rim, which is something they didn't do 2 weeks ago. They made free throws. Their shooting percentage was better. So, yeah, you don't look at the result as much as you look at, okay, what did they clean up? What did they improve on? What did they fix after looking at film? And to their credit, they guarded like demons. They made their shots around the basket. They had a couple of guys like Jovic and guys emerge, and they started a really crazy, unique lineup that nobody expected and got to a 15-point lead basically with playing 4 reserves.
Yeah, the starting lineup was Bashir, Magwood, Hall,
Jovic,
SWA, and then Jovic, which we won't ever see that again. But the start was excellent.
Yeah.
I want to stop since we're listing those guys out. Caden Magwood, 15 points on 4 of 5 shooting, was super effective. We saw glimpses of it against Oklahoma State. We saw glimpses of it tonight. There was a lot of question on, like, okay, who is the backup point guard? Are they going to go get somebody in the portal? Are they good with Dahad and then seeing what Magwood can do? Once again, we're not going to overreact to these 2 exhibition games, but all the reports out of camp and then what we've seen so far, it's like, yeah, I can see why they were confident with Magwood in that role. Yeah,
I think that very efficient. I would like to see his assist total get up. I mean, I'm not being nitpicky here. We're just pointing out, analysis. Phenomenal game scoring wise. I think
1 assist.
I think he was a little loose with the basketball at times as far as turnovers. That will go
5
away
turnovers.
The more he plays. He's a freshman, right? He's going to get better on that. Want to see the assist total. But here's the key.
Yes.
If you want a point guard that can come off the bench and spell Tahad and give you some point production, that's where that could be big. Because bench scoring, Bashir, 9 points, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. He looks like he could be a guy that could chip in. And you made a great point before we hit record. Magwood's not going to play 18, 19 minutes a game in the regular season. He
ended with 20. That won't happen unless Dahad gets 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes of a game.
You get 10 to 12 out of him. Hope they're efficient 10 to 12 minutes. Same thing with Bashir. I think Jovic at some point, depending on what who they play, as far as lineup selection, should find his way into the starting lineup. Hall is exactly what we thought he was going to be. I mean, he is elite. Auburn got to, hit the century mark tonight, and Tahad Pettiford had 11 points. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
So you talk about balance. Yeah.
The efficiency of scoring. Bashir, 3 of 5. Magwood, 4 of 5. Keyshawn Hall, 7 of 14, but got 20 points off of it. SWA, 3 for 3 for 9 points. Jovic, 2 of 3 for 11 points. They kept fouling him in the first half. He kept getting to the free throw line, 7 of 8 from the charity stripe. Tahad, ironically, probably the most inefficient scorer. Overton was 1 of 4. Tahad was 3 of 9. Elijah Freeman, 3 of 7. But, I mean, I love the efficiency. Keyshawn Murphy, who's a guy I've kind of been a little bit critical of, he was 3 for 3 tonight. So I love the efficiency scoring throughout the roster. I think that is awesome. Now, exhibition. And I know Memphis is historically like a solid basketball program. They did not look like a very good basketball team.
No, they're picked to win the AAC from a lot of different people, but I think playing that Arkansas game earlier in the week, they looked a little dead-legged. Auburn looked a lot fresher, a lot faster, a lot deeper. They looked dead-legged, and Auburn took advantage of that. Now, but we're not talking about beating a team by 8. We're talking about boat racing a team. So, I mean, that makes it a little bit more impressive. I'll say this, too. If you asked me what the biggest takeaway I had of this game, as far as other than when I talked about the things that Auburn cleaned up, Auburn really attacked the offensive glass in a way I haven't seen in a while. And 3 dudes stood out to me. SWA, Freeman, and Jovic all went to the glass and really got after it, attacking the offensive glass. And if you get second chance points and putbacks in this league, you got a really good chance to win close games because you're banking points that you're going to need later. That was another aspect that I loved of Auburn's game, the way they attacked the offensive glass. And so that's effort. That's things that, somebody got their attention from 2 weeks ago. That's obvious.
Yeah. I don't know how good of a, shooting team Memphis is. But I'm going to be concerned about the size and the rebounding until I see it in conference play.
I agree.
Auburn's got a good enough non-conference schedule where I think we're going to be tested enough to know if it's going to work or not. But even with that, and you talk about Auburn attacking the glass, like Memphis still had 7 more offensive rebounds. Memphis out-rebounded Auburn 40-35. Like, that's going to be something that I hope isn't a theme, but I'm concerned about our size down low right now. That's something that we talked about when the portal was happening. I kept expecting them to add another center, and it didn't really ever happen. We'll see if Jovic develops in that way. They may choose to do that more over the course of the season, but that's the next thing I want to see with this, because there's going to be, I think there's going to be several games where Auburn's out rebounded, and we all know you can be a great shooting team, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes you just don't make the shots that you normally do. And on those nights, what does the team look like? That's my biggest question.
Murphy will play more minutes. He was on limited minutes because of the knee thing.
He fouled out, didn't he?
Yeah, but he still was only supposed to play 10 to 12 minutes is what he was projected. He also got drilled in the nose with an elbow, had a bloody nose, so he missed time then.
Yeah,
how many minutes did
he played 14 minutes and fouled out.
You would think that in the regular season he's going to play 20 to 23, and you would hope that in that extra 7 or 8 minutes he picks up 3 or 4 more rebounds, which will help. We got to consider that. The funny part is I don't think Aaron Bradshaw wants to play in Atlanta against Auburn ever again. Okay? He was on that Ohio State team last year in Atlanta that Auburn absolutely took their manhood. He rolls back out there tonight. Woohoo, different story. Nope. You get throttled again, big boy, in State Farm Arena. He's going to have like twitches when he sees the Jake State Farm commercials, because that arena has just not been kind to him against Auburn. So he's
he's going to be driving to get a flight in Atlanta and just start like having flashbacks. So
yes, he's going to have to fly out of Columbus.
Yeah.
I just think that there were some pieces tonight that I saw that I was really, really impressed with. And I think that if Auburn, again, it's an exhibition game, if they can do certain things in the regular season that we saw tonight, most of all, balance scoring and guard like that, they could be a problem for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's jump into other names that stood out to us tonight, as well as let's start our tradition that we do at the end of all of these post-game lives, because next time we do this, it'll be a real game. And so let's predict the first five games in Auburn's record to start the season. All that is next right here on the special live edition of Locked on Auburn. The Auburn Tigers destroy Memphis 100-71. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, your first $5 bet, Daryl, if it hits, $300. Talk about a return on investment. And that line, according to FanDuel, it keeps moving Auburn's direction in their battle against the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. I think it opened at 9.5, been 10.5, and is now 11.5. So if you want to get in on the action, once again, right now, FanDuel giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when that first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. If you're in the Auburn, Opelika area, if you're in the Atlanta area, whatever it may be, it's worth the short drive over to Columbus, Georgia. They're right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, and they are going to work with you to make sure you find a Kia, a vehicle that you absolutely love, whether it's a Sorento, which is one of the most versatile vehicles out there. They've got you covered. As soon as you walk in, you say, hey, I heard about you guys on Locked on Auburn. You're going to save $500 off of any new Kia right there. Daryl, you're very high on the tires for life on any new Kia. Just ask your sales associate about that, but go check them out. You can visit KiaAutosportColumbus.com to browse their full inventory and start saving today. Can't say it enough. Auburn takes down Memphis 100-71. Always fun when you hit triple digits. Daryl, who's another guy that we haven't really talked about much, because like Auburn has the pieces. We've talked about SWA. You've talked about how much you love, Kevin Overton as a glue guy, even though he wasn't super efficient. But then again, he shoots it 4 times and he scores 7 points. Like, maybe I shouldn't be so critical on that. But who's another guy that stood out to you tonight as one of these pieces that's like, okay, yeah, I see what they were doing when they built this roster?
I like Bashir tonight. I was very impressed that he came off the bench. He was kind of like an assassin. I mean, I know he only had 9 points, but he was 3 of 5 from behind the 3-point line. That's all you want from him. That is what you got him for, is to be, okay, I'm going to come off the bench and I'm going to be dead eye on some threes and give you some instant offense. And he showed flashes of that. So, I mean, Overton to me is a guy too, Zach, that will show his value and how important he is. Sometimes it won't show up on the stat sheet so much because he's such a good off the ball defender, and he's tough, he's strong, he's physical, he's very much a leader. I think he's a guy that can get in double digits every night, but if he doesn't, the value of him to this team is not diminished. He could score 8 points and have a huge impact because the way he guards, defends, and he's got a mental toughness we talk about glue guy. He's one of those guys you need to have on your team if you want to go places.
Yeah, no, another one I think is Elijah Freeman. I can't wait to see how he develops as a player and as an athlete throughout this year, kind of coming from the lower ranks and now playing in the big leagues with the SEC. That's another where you see glimpses. 3 of 7 from the floor, like found a way to score 8 points. And like 6 rebounds. I mean, he's going to be a solid guy. 4 steals. Goodness gracious, I didn't realize that in real time watching it. 4 steals for Elijah Freeman. I mean, a guy who can do
He's so athletic. He's so athletic. He reminds me a lot, athleticism-wise, of Ja'Kai Howard, but he's more mature and he's more physical. He's stronger and he's a little more polished. And I think he's versatile. And I think to me, this team, it has 2 constants that I think every time an opposing coach gets the whiteboard out in the locker room, they're going to say, hey, we got to take Hall and Pettiford out of this game. That's a given. Those are your two core guys. What I love about the potential of this team is there could be 6 or 7 other guys on any given night that could emerge to come out of nowhere and help you offensively. You know this, secondary scoring.
Yes.
Big. If Pettiford's off one night or they do whatever they do on Hall and box him and draw up defenses, somebody's going to have to emerge. It could be Freeman. It could be Jovic. It could be Bashir. It could be Overton. I kind of like that. But again, if you were to ask me right now, biggest concern going into the regular season for Monday night, and what a glorious time of year, fall in the air, holidays coming up. The overlap is glorious. I love it.
So fun.
It is so fun. So it would be size. I agree with you. Murphy's got to show me more, and Jovic at 6'9". Can he bang with the big boys down on the block in the SEC at 6'9"? We'll see.
You mentioned size. I want to bring up this question. This is from Jamie Lester. Do we see Emeka Oporum in some of our bigger size matchups as the season goes on? I hope so, but I don't think the plan for him is to be like a substantial contributor this year. Do you agree with that? I
agree. And the reason why I'm shaking my head, no, it's not that he doesn't have nice size from a height standpoint. He is just too thin. He's not physically ready. He's not strong enough. I like his size. Another year, perhaps another 20, 25 pounds. Completely different story. I just think he's too frail. Mm-hmm. He's athletic, but he would get bullied with guys that are 6'10", 240, 250 on the block, and that would be the problem.
Yeah, here's one thing that, like, as a fan base, I think we need to be aware of and careful of, because we treat basketball so much like football, where when you drop a game or you underperform, it's like it hits us harder than it probably should as a basketball section of the fan base. All of these guys that we just mentioned, they're all like, this is a brand new team. Like, everybody's new, including Tahad, and even his role is different than it was a year ago. The combination of these guys learning to play together, learning to play for a new head coach, as well as, I think a lot of these guys, it's going to take them time to get used to the SEC speed. Not all of them. Keyshawn Hall leading the Big 12. I mean, Big 12 is obviously a great basketball conference. Keyshawn Murphy obviously played in the SEC last year at Mississippi State. But a lot of these guys that we mentioned, they're going to be better at the end of the season than they are right now. And so I don't want us to panic if we start out with this brutal non-conference schedule and it looks a little bumpy. This roster is built to peak at the end of the season, and I think that's something worth being excited about.
Great point. Number one, just the more playing time this group gets together from a chemistry standpoint, and the more minutes they get, you're going to see that. And I think this is going to be a team that's playing a lot better in February, so people don't need to panic. But here's the beauty part of that. Here's why we see some of the overreaction. Auburn basketball has got to such a level that people treat exhibition games tonight, and the interest and the involvement is like it's a regular season game. There's almost 500 people in here right now at 10 o'clock at night after an exhibition basketball game. Let that sink in.
That a lot of people couldn't watch. I mean, so many people are, I forgot about this game. So glad you're here. So
with that, with the good comes the bad, that sometimes it's so important. Right. It gets the overreaction to a loss is because it's, there's so much attention to it. But I think this is a team that could lose 10 to 12 games in the regular season and still end up being a 5 or 6 seed in the NCAA tournament and could do some damage.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We are 6 subs away from 25,000, which sounds ridiculous to say out loud. Thank you all so much. It'd be really cool to pass that tonight. If not, we'll pass it tomorrow, which is fine. All right, so let's look at the next time we do this. We will be playing real basketball that counts, which is very, very exciting.
Some very funny comments. I want to give people props this late at night saying we have to beat Bethune and Cookman Monday night because it's Bethune-Cookman got to beat two schools. I think it's very, very witty. I like it.
That's
Props to
fun.
you guys.
It's
Yeah.
wittier than Ball is not a state. That's for sure.
Yeah, Monday night we'll go live again. I'll be in the arena this time. So
that's right. Go. That's right. All right. So the next five: Bethune-Cookman,
all right,
Merrimack, Wofford, Houston, and Birmingham, and then Jackson State, which Jackson is not a state.
No, and they're SWAC, basketball. So is Bethune-Cookman. Auburn's get 2 of their first 5 against SWAC opponents.
That's
I'm
cool.
saying 5-0. They're beating
Houston
in Birmingham. They're beating Houston.
I'm gonna say 4-1.
Okay, I'm going 5-1.
Do you remember when I made that AI generated movie cover when you were talking about Merrimack?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was.
It was Merrimack, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. Well, you're like, that's not a real school. That sounds like this because it was closer to Christmas time.
It was a Hallmark movie. Remember, we were saying.
Yeah, you're making a Hallmark movie plot where it's like, yeah, you go back and
you go back to Merrimack and you find your high school sweetheart. We called it Christmas in Merrimack or something.
That's right.
That. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and that was the year of the light shows. We got to bring all that back. Light shows I promise you, they will make an appearance. I do it at a different location than I used to.
Yeah.
But when I moved,
no, you do it right there. We went to the Final Four with you doing it right
there. That is
there.
true.
You
don't
not
want to
move,
screw
my
anything
guy.
up.
You do.
Julie's
not.
gonna have
light
to get
shows.
creative. She's gonna have to get creative with her.
Yeah,
light
I
shows.
will take. I'll take Final Four runs over a light show. For sure. Yeah. Live chat. A lot of people are saying 4-1. That's probably going to be the most common answer. But yeah, it comes down to Houston. I mean, Auburn should beat the other teams. I don't know enough about Houston's situation. We need to hit up our guy Parker.
I think they lost a couple dudes. I think Calvin Sampson. They lost in an exhibition. Not that that means anything. They lost a couple dudes. I just like Auburn playing in Birmingham, just not in Boutwell, because again, unless we have a penalty box and skates, that you never need to play on that surface again. Period.
Eric saying, I dated a girl named Mary Mack. That count?
Yeah.
I think it does count. I think that absolutely counts, Eric.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that counts. That's strong.
That is strong. All right. Any other final thoughts as we wrap up the exhibition? The preseason is about to be behind us. Any final thoughts, Daryl Daffridge?
I know it's just an exhibition game, and we're going to keep this in perspective just like we did 2 weeks ago, because I have to be fair. If I downplay one, I'm going to downplay the other. But if you have to have a performance like this, it's better to have it going into the season than having it 2 weeks ago. I love the fact that you're springboarding off this performance. You're carrying it over 4 or 5 nights later with a lot of good feelings and a lot of goodwill and a lot of things that you can look at tape and go, oh, you cleaned that up. Good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And once again, like even in the loss of Oklahoma State, which Oklahoma State impressed me more than Memphis did, I think Oklahoma State might be a competitive team. But
I heard that some people in the Big 12 said that they could be a top 3 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean that's a great
and Kansas and Arizona is in that league.
You got to find a way to bring up Arizona.
Well,
you ain't slick. You ain't slick. I know what you're doing. But I think my biggest takeaway is like we all knew that these individual pieces made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see why they wanted all of these individual basketball players. I still think we're weeks or months away from seeing how they fully come together as a team. I want to be very clear. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Because the upside of this roster is tremendous. But it's gonna take some moving guys around to kind of figure out how they gel.
And I know this first 5 is a little bit lighter, but Auburn's non-conference gets tricky. I mean, besides Houston, they play North Carolina State, they play Arizona, they play Purdue. I mean,
there you are saying it again.
Well, I mean, I did it in chronological order.
No, you love Arizona. We get it.
I'm just telling you who they're playing. They're a top 8 team right now.
Sure.
So
they're good.
But I won't be. You say I love Arizona, but when I get out there, you know dang well who I'm gonna be living and dying with.
I get it. I get it. I respect it. Auburn takes down Memphis 100 71 in the final exhibition game of this pre-season. You can hear Daryl and I again in just a few hours on the Friday's edition
Sorry.
of Locked on Auburn. Daryl, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Wow. Tomorrow, obviously, check us out Saturday or Sunday morning after the Auburn-Kentucky game, our reaction show that we do from the Jordan-Hare press box. And then Monday night, I'll be going live with you after Bethune-Cookman from Neville Arena.
Yep. A lot. Yeah, we got a busy weekend for sure. So please like the video. Please subscribe. We're too shy of 25,000, which is crazy. That's so cool. Thank you.
Do you remember we got to 8? Was it 8 that we got to that we were all excited?
We hit 8 at some point. Yeah.
I mean, we were together is what I'm saying. I think about that. I mean, the milestones there. I think we were doing the show together a few years ago when it got to 8. So
yeah, it's crazy. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.